Hi, welcome back to my channel. Now, in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I'm going about making a wardrobe. Now, the wardrobe, obviously, in the video, you're going to see a few MDF cabinets made for the video. They're all going to have chamfered edges. But the main part about this job is obviously making our own custom paneling for the sides of the wardrobe and obviously running around the top. Now, I've come up with an idea. I planned to do this years ago, but it looks like there's somebody else have taken my idea on it, and there's paneling you can buy in all the DIY stores now with strips of wood with a felt back on it. Now I come up with this idea of using oak and ash slats, but I was always going to go horizontal with them, not vertical, to make my paneling, and lo and behold, they seem to be on the market now. So we are just knocking up a bench now quickly in the bedroom, ready to start this wardrobe build. I bought a couple of chests of drawers I'm just knocking up quickly, as you can see in the video by here, because these are going to be used in the bottom of the built-in wardrobe. So we're just going ahead now, fixing all the little bits in place that comes in the box. I didn't want to make my own for this because of the cost and everything involved with that. I probably should have, but I just decided, hey, what the heck, these are £99 each. Let's just buy them, knock them up. They're in grey. They're called the Corona range in the UK. They're very cheap, but they're sturdy. So I decided to go ahead and just knock these two chests of drawers up, just so I can position at the bottom of my wardrobe. And then I'm going to cut all my MDF alcoves and hanging rails all by myself. And then we're going to paint all that up. So that's what... Now, I've left the back off the two of these little chests of drawers because I've got a radiator that I've installed in the back, because we're going to have a little radiator just to keep everything nice, warm and cozy in the back of the unit for all the clothes to stay mold-free. So we're just knocking up a quick frame now out of 2x3 that we're just going to fix to the wall using a concrete fixing. This is going to be what I'm going to work off for the rest of the wardrobe. Once I've made everything is plumb and nice and square, I can then go ahead and start cutting my MDF down, ready to make the built-in wardrobe. Now, as you can see, I'm not using the Festool Domino on this job because I've decided to go with the 18.25mm router bit, and we're going to wood glue the whole lot together. Now, it's a nice strong construction. I've never had an issue with it. I think it's just a different method of making your wardrobes. I will point out, by using this method, it's nice, strong, it's solid. And when you wood glue it all together, you don't get the cracking in the corner. As you can see, we are just marking everything out. Now, I use the Festool guide rail and square to make sure everything is square. Now, it's great for doing something like this. You can just line your square up, put your template piece in front of it, and you can just router your rebates into your workpiece. You can use the attachment that comes with the OF 1400 to do the actual cuts with your router. But I just find using this rail square is great. Line your square up, line this off cut of MDF or the actual shelf you've cut, and then you've got a guide there and your router can run next to. It seems quick, easy, don't seem to have an issue with it. So I'm just showing you where I'm at on these wardrobe builds. If you have a look, you can see that I've routed the grooves into the MDF. Placing your piece in this nice little recess. See how nice they sit? And what you get with this then is you get a lovely clean line where the cabinet meets. And when you come to paint it, when it's all wood glued together, you get no cracking. And I've been doing them for a while now, and I think they're absolutely bloody great. So we are just knocking up the actual cabinets now. So we're just using the wood glue by Gorilla, which is very, very strong. It's waterproof wood glue as well, which is great. So it can be used outdoors if you're thinking about getting some yourself. So I just wood glue both sides of it. Stick them together, little tap of a mallet, keeping one of my faces perfectly flat so there's less sanding to finish off the cabinets. And then I'm obviously going to get my back, cut the back. I'd wood glue the back and I'd tack it on with a nail gun. Now, as I've spoken before and said and mentioned on ya, it's a nice solid setup. Don't have any problems with it. Customers haven't complained. That's all that matters, really. This is just a different method from using the Festool domino. Saves a lot of time, I find. I love the domino, but this is just a different method I'm showing you how making your cabinet. We're using the Pasolode second fix nail gun by here with a 50mm nail in there. They're galvanized nails. I don't need to be fussy on what nails I'm using, as this is an indoor job. Like I've said, with the wood glue and these tacks, it keeps it nice, solid and strong. As you can see, I'm wiping the excess wood glue off because that can get quite messy. I like to sand all of my panels before I install them onto the cabinet. Saves a lot of time trying to get the sander in there and sand them all. Decorators always make a mistake, some do, and they don't sand the MDF. It's the wrong thing to do. So when you're making your cabinet, just sand every single panel, then connect them all together using your nail gun and wood glue. And like you can see by there, I glue the back panel on as well to avoid any cracking when painted. We're just connecting the Makita palm router up now. We're going to put a chamfer on all of this unit. It's a lovely finish, nice and easy to paint, and stops chipping out of the cabinets then once they've been installed on the job. Obviously this is my house, I don't need to be too fussy, but I still like to do a good finish on the sort of work I'm producing, and I'd like it to last the test of time as well. So we're just going ahead now with the Makita router. We're going to chamfer all the edges on this cabinet, and then I can make another 3 cabinets then, identical to these ones, and I can connect them all together and get them all painted. So as you can see, we're just going around now each of them, trying to hold the hose while I'm trying to do all the chamfering and try not to wobble the router, which can be a bit of a pain. But it's nice, easy, it's quick, it looks a professional finish. So I'll just speed this bit up for you now. So this is what they look like after they've been chamfered. Obviously we got a little recess in here, look, that we've created with the router. And then these panels drop in. And then I'd mark of a square in the centre of this line. And then I'd tack it with a nail gun. Now using wood glue and tacking this with a nail gun, these become absolutely solid. And where you've got these joints in here then, let me try and show you. Where you've got these joints in the corners here, because our MDF actually slides in there, it doesn't crack then after you paint it, it absolutely stays solid. And here's the corners, which we've chamfered off with the router as well, so you can see. So it gives it a nice edge to paint now. You don't get any problems then with chipping and whatnot because you've actually relieved the edge of your timber, and then you get a lovely finish then. So these are just box cabinets, simple design, I to make them. 18mm router bit, panels slide in, all tacks together. I don't do the end ones. Never bother with the end ones. I've always just tacked these on, but they're absolutely solid. Customers have never complained about them. They last the test of time, and there you go. There you have it. So I'm just showing you another one that we've knocked up. This one, the reason why I'm showing you this on here is the back panel was short. Now, if you haven't got enough MDF and you're chucking a back panel in, make sure you do your joint bang on in the middle of a shelf. So you can wood glue it together. You're never going to see it from the front. Job done. So I was halfway through this build and I decided to install a bit of lighting up on the top. These are going to be motion censored lighting, which I'm recessing into the MDF. I regret it. After I started routering this recess out, it was a bit of a pain. MDF can be a bit of a bugger. So as you can see now, I'm doing these little holes so you can get your thumb in to take the lighting out. Now the lighting just fits into the recess you've created with little bits of metal with magnets on them, so you can pull them out, recharge them and put them back in nice and quick. So I'm just checking now the depth, and then I'll set the router to exactly the same as that, and then I can router out the light in then, and then this panel can be fitted on top of the wardrobe. So this is where I'm at with these cabinets that I'm building in my bedroom now. You might look at them and say, oh, I don't know about this. But we're having 2 chests of drawers at the bottom. They're just basic drawers, nice and cheap. Cheap and cheerful. They're just a Mexican pine called the Corona, which are great. Only £100 each. So yeah, we wanted a chest of drawers at the bottom, but we didn't want to make them to save on time and money. So these are the actual cabinets that I have built. I'll just show you. Don't worry about the light switch, but that's a bloody mess, but we're covering that up. So yeah, the cabinets go all the way up to the ceiling, right? Like I've shown you in the video. See, we cut the recess in there, 7mm both sides, and they've all been chamfered, so they'll take the paint. Up the top then, I got this little piece that I've cut out and recessed for lighting. These are just rechargeable lights that we're going to put in there. And we got hanging rails on both sides. There's going to be a hanging rail in there, and there's going to be another hanging rail on this side so that you won't see the light switch. I'm probably going to make a little cabinet to drop in the side there, just to put in a few bits and bobs. So that's basically the gist of it. So this is where we're at with it. See? Plenty of storage, loads of alcoves and knickknacks to put all your bits in. And then it's going to have sliding doors on the front. And then we're going to custom make a panel out of oak and ash. That's going to go on this side. And it's going to run across the top because the doors are about 2.2 meters tall. So yeah, that's it. So that's where I'm at with it. So with this wardrobe, the side paneling, we're going to have strips of oak. So this is going to be the effect we're going to have on the paneling that I'm going to make. You're going to have a thick piece of oak and a thin piece of ash, and then a thick piece of oak and then a thin piece of ash. I'm going to chamfer all the edges, and that's going to be my panel that I'm making. I think it's going to look awesome. We're going to Osmo oil it all up, and it's going to be a side panel, a bit of a front and a return, and we're going to miter the lot. I'm going to use the guide rails and cut at a 45 and see if all that works. But obviously the first part of this job now is cutting all of the oak. So to go about doing that, obviously I'm going to get a guide rail. I'm going to cut a perfectly straight line on the side of my stock, and then I'm going to send it all through the CS50 then, just to cut them to the widths. And once I've got all that stage done, then I might need to just plane them to get them all to the same thickness. I don't think it bothers me if they're different thicknesses. I think it'll look pretty awesome and pretty cool. It gives it a bit of a rustic look, not too machined. So yeah, wish me luck, and here we go on this video. Let's go for it. So right here now we are just ripping the sides down using the guide rail on the oak. So we're giving it a nice flat edge. And now we're going to send it through the CS50 and rip it all down to the desired width that I've chosen to make these wardrobes with. So if you watch the process, you're going to see that I'm just ripping the oak down. The ash I've already got, that's pre-cut in a box and it's been planed luckily. So this oak, mind, I'm going to have to plane it on all 4 sides just to make sure it's nice and smooth. And I am going with the same thickness because it's going to complicate mitering and everything on the unit that I'm building, well, the paneling for this wardrobe. So stay tuned and there's more to come. We are now setting the depth of the thickness of the ash. Now this is going to be cut into the oak on the back side and the underside, and the same on the back side and on the top. So the ash then is the oak is basically just going to slot over the top of the ash. So it's going to look a bit seamless when all the pieces of timber are connected together on the actual wardrobe panel. So I won't bore you with a lot of this now. As you can see, we've already started putting some of the ash and oak onto the wardrobe side panel here. You're going to get a better video of it. This was late in the night. I just wanted to see what it was looking like and see what sort of effect I was going to get when putting it together. Now all I'm doing with this is I'm wood gluing the back, and it's an MDF panel I've put on the side, so it's going to stick and it's going to stay put. As you can see now, you've got the oak and ash slats all starting to go up the wardrobe. Looks a little bit of an angle by here, but I have used the spirit level. I think it's just the angle of the actual camera, because when you see a better shot of it, when I pan around later on to show you how it's looking, you're going to see how tidy it actually looks. It is a bit dark, so bear with it, and you will see the actual effect this actual panel is creating on this wardrobe. Right, so this is the oak that we have machined. Now, we had obviously in the video I showed you the oak I was cutting with a plunge saw, and all I've done is I've just cut these little recesses in the back of the oak log so I can slot over the ash when we make this paneling. So these have all been planed. I've planed the face, I've planed the back, so they're all the same thickness, and I've also planed these sides. So this is how it's going to be put together. I'm going to have a piece of oak there on the panel, then we've got a piece of ash that's going to slide in behind there, and we'll have another piece of oak, another piece of ash, and so on. And that's the panel. That's what we're creating. So if you just stay with me on this video now. Up, wrecking my floor, and that's the panel. That's the finish we're looking for. As you can see now, we are moving on, cutting each individual piece and gluing and tacking. And what I'm doing is I'm tacking the actual piece of ash up high, and then the little recess I cut in the oak then slides over the tacks. There are a few tacks I had to put in there that you can see on the finished results, but I like the look of it. I'm happy with it, and the missus likes it as well, so she's an easy customer to please. We're just moving on now, getting on with the job. Obviously mitering each separate piece as we work our way up. It's nice to do. It's an enjoyable job. I was enjoying it by this point. But what I was doing is that piece of oak that you see, I'm making sure I'm using the same piece that wraps around just in case there's any imperfections or my thickness is slightly different. Even though I put them through the thickness planer, I just wanted to make sure I got the same grain running around the corners. Now, I know I'm chopping a bit off of the miter saw, so I was trying to get the same effect, the same grain running right the way through. Didn't always work in my favour, mind, and sometimes I found a bad piece in the timber and I wasn't happy with, or I didn't like the look of a piece, so I had to just go with the flow, really. As you can see now, we are moving up. I'm trying to keep the same pieces as I mentioned earlier, but sometimes it wasn't possible, obviously with bad bits and whatnot. And as you can see with the oak, it's different colours. The ash does look like a bit like the oak in this, but this is a rippled ash. I've always been a fan of the rippled ash, so I decided to go with this rippled ash and oak effect. As you can see now, the oak is more proud than the ash. It's given it a nice design. It's custom, it's different. I hope you like what you're seeing. Maybe you want to try and do something like this yourself. It is bespoke. It is completely different. But you've got to have patience. Some of the miters wasn't bang on, I'm not going to lie. But I was using the K-Pex for this, but that's timber fuse. Some of these ash panels had slight bows to them, so I was just changing pieces and using what I could. Picking the best stock, the straightest pieces I had, and that's what I was using on this build. We're just undercoating now the MDF, as I showed you in the previous part of this video, that we've already sanded the MDF when we was knocking the cabinets up together. So I'm just getting a coat of undercoat on now. Very time consuming of MDF. It can be a bit of a pain. So I'm just cracking on with the undercoat, and then I can get my top coat on as well. So this job, it took 2 undercoats, sanding in between, and 2 or 3 top coats. I can't remember exactly, but it would have been a minimum of 4 coats in total, because that's what I normally do for my jobs. So as you can see, we're using a mini gloss roller. I'm applying a top coat here now. This was mixed by Dulux. It's like a putty colour. There's a bit of a cashmere look to it. I quite liked it. The missus liked this. So this is the colour we decided on. You don't really get the full effect in the video, the actual colour, but it does look nice. So yeah, we're just getting another coat on there now, and then another couple of coats to finish her off. So we're at the final stages now. I'm making the little pieces, the little miters that's going to run up the side. So the sliding wardrobe doors now have been installed. These are a black glass. They're from Magnet. And the way I've made this is I'm going to have this door to slide in behind my paneling. So when you slide the door, as you can see me moving the door now. The door is actually going to slide in behind the panel. So it's going to look a bit like a seamless design. And it does work. And it works lovely as well once it's all finished. You'll see the end now when I got a couple of minute video to show you the doors, the operation of them and everything. And then you can see it now in this video with me sliding the door back and forth. So it just comes in behind the oak and ash just to finish everything off. So it looks nice, it looks professional. Now I didn't bother putting a cupboard down the side of this wardrobe in the end. We ran out of material basically. So I just thought, you know what? It is what it is. Out of sight, out of mind, as they say. Mrs. is happy, I'm happy. We're coming up to a few final bits now. There's a bit of excitement kicking in. I can't wait to step back and have a look to see what it looks like. It's always nice when you've accomplished something and everything's going to plan. All the planning and thinking and measuring and cutting has all come together now, and I'm on the final few pieces. Some little pieces needed a bit of alterations to get them in there. But you know what? It's all worked out, and it's worked out just nice. So here's the end result. So this is it. This is the custom paneling that I made for the side. There's the top. There's a little gap I've got to fill up there, look, but that was the full height of the bloody ash. Here's the glass sliding doors. It's like a black glass. Just zoom that out a bit. And that's what it is. So it's all a lot different. You won't see a lot of this about. Obviously this is my design. So here's my design. All the oak and ash going up the side. You got the glass sliding doors. These are a bit different. Mrs. didn't want bloody mirrored. So I had to go with this black glass. Don't know if I'm keen on them yet. These just slide across. And we got the cabinets that I made in the top. A little hanging rail by there. Obviously the cubby holes to put the bits in. And they go right up to the ceiling then. And under here we got the motion sensor light in. Don't know why I'm gone off mine, probably because we're in the daylight, I'd imagine. And that's it basically. I didn't fill that side in by there because we put a radiator in the back, and the heat now can circulate. It can come out here, it can heat all the clothes, keep them all nice and tidy. Just walking back, look. And then we got the chests of drawers underneath. So yeah, I think it works. I'm happy with it. Got little tiny pinholes to fill in on the oak and the ash where I tacked them on. Might just leave it like it. I think it's looking nice. But it's just something different for you. If you're building a wardrobe and you're thinking of going ahead and doing something custom and something different, don't know if it's to everyone's taste, but it certainly does look different and it should last the test of time. So here we have the sliding wardrobe doors. This rail is a screwless design. You just fit the rail to the floor. There's these little tiny plastic clips you fit to the actual floor, and then you tap this down with a mallet. So it's nice, it's like a frameless design. You don't see the wheels either, look, on these doors. These are from Magnet in the UK, if anyone's thinking of buying something like this. They're different, I'm not gonna lie. I like them. What I done, because the top rail of this actual wardrobe, this top one right up here, it was massive. It was about 75mm thick. So I just dropped this heading piece down by just to give it a mild looking frame. Even though it was very chunky, I've never seen one like that for a built-in wardrobe before, but it was robust, so I'm not gonna lie. So we'll just go back now. I'll show you the side panel on the wardrobe. Obviously we got the oak and the ash, and that goes all the way up. Just comes all the way up, right away to the ceiling there, and then it just returns and goes around there to the other side. So that's it. I got the odd mitre, which is not 1,000,000% bang on, the millimetre gap in there, and we got these tiny little holes that I could get a bit of oak filler, mix them up and do a couple of different colours and just fill them in. But it's nothing major, it's not really bothering me. I like the look of it. I think if I was in a customer's house, I'd have to do that. Mine, we'd have to fill them in. Oh yeah, and I just want to show you what I've done with this side as well. See, we cut all the sides. So this door then, when it goes in, it just tucks behind there. I think it gives it a nice finish. That's the side look, see? There's that top piece. Just coming around with the video. And here's the other door on the other side. So both of these is exactly the same on both sides then, these wardrobes. Obviously I've shown you before where we chamfered all the edges. It's just nice for painting, makes it a lot easier. Maybe I could have done a little bit of filler in here and there. But you know what? It looks bloody good. I'm happy with it. I think a customer would be happy with it.